global training company, we offer walk, talk and report audits. Both Jane Carver and I have 6 children, 3 of whom have a variety of disabilities. So we have a unique insight into what makes a successful visitor journey. And today we're at Ilam Country Estate with the managers of the National Trust in the Peak District to work out barriers and solutions to what makes a great day out for families like ours. The church at Ilam is so important to the history of the area, and there's several steps to get in, but we've just identified this lovely little side door. So if we make a feature of this, if possible, to allow people to know they can get entrance to this lovely church, that would be really great. As you can see, a little route that goes from the hall to the church is great, but it's important to get the surfacing right. So things like this down here we will look at and create a better pathway. So this area leads down to the river, and at the moment it's just grass. So it would be really great to create a surface that enables people to know exactly where to go. Coming from the church down towards the river, that there is this St Bertrand's pool. It's got lovely sound of running water, and if we can create something that makes this a feature that people can come to, and with tactile information board or something like that, then this makes a really nice area. So we're here on the bridge, which is next to the river, and it's very, very steep. So there's a steep drop down here. So I personally would not be recommending that people come over here. Prams are okay, motorised scooters probably okay, but someone who's in a wheelchair, it is steep and difficult. So I would be saying stick to that side of the river and create a walk that goes down there. Something like the natural sound of this weir is just absolutely lovely for people with visual problems, because they can hear what's going on and they're in the countryside with fresh air, and it's great. At Ilam Hall, it is famous for its wild garlic. It's absolutely beautiful what you can see behind me. But an environment like this of the National Trust is the perfect environment for a sensory environment that's great for those with autism and learning difficulties, and people also who have visual problems. You know, to smell this is just unbelievable. Having 2 disabled children, I remember years ago coming to Ilam, and as we were up at the Ilam Hall being directed that this was the path down here, and I remember struggling enormously, tackling these steps with a wheelchair, and it was a 3-wheeler buggy, and thinking what a nightmare. And yet the other area is smoother along the river, so it's important that signage and maps guide people around a site so that they get a great experience. Like this, the surface is really important, and things like tree roots and stones can make it a really bumpy ride. So this seems too steep for someone to push a wheelchair up, but then of course there's disabled ramblers, there's motorised scooters, etc., and they're all perfect and can cope fine with this. So it's about signage and instructing people on what they can and can't do. Seating is really important in any attraction or any country estate. So as you're walking around, it's really great to be able to take a seat and relax and look at the view. And people with disabilities can often have health problems, so breathing difficulties, lethargy, all sorts of things make a day out quite difficult. So providing these sorts of things all add to the experience. Just come up a very steep slope, and it's so important that you have resting areas and seating as you come up an area like that, so that people can do it, but instead of it being one long incline, they can go up a little, then have a rest, up a little, have a rest, and it just makes it so much easier. Of buildings like this is that we have different levels and terraces and steps, but of course that's a barrier to people in wheelchairs. So what you can do is look at alternative ways in which you can get a nice view. So over here to my left there's a grassed area, and it's whether or not you can actually put some seating that overlooks the garden, so you can still get a great pleasure from looking at the garden without actually being down there. But of course if you can find an alternative route that can lead to that garden, then that's so much better. Here at Ilam, the cafe is a wonderful space, but it's up several steps. So it's so important to actually look at an alternative area, and that's what they're doing at Ilam Hall. It's really important to welcome dogs at attractions, and to have things like dog bowls, maybe dog treats and spend areas, so that they also feel welcome. At Ilam there is a youth hostel, and there's also the bunkhouse. Now that's got accommodation upstairs, so it hasn't got level access, but it's about looking at what you have got and maybe being the best accommodation for people with visual impairments or hearing impairments. So it's not all about level access for wheelchair users. This may just look like a toilet roll cupboard, but this is the most exciting thing that me and Jane have seen today, because this is a storeroom that would make a perfect changing places toilet, and 250,000 people in the country cannot go out without using a changing places adult toilet. So this would open up a world of opportunities for nursing homes, special schools, and people who are at day centres or all those people with like motor neuron disease or head injuries that cannot go out without using one of these special facilities. So this room could be an absolutely magnificent facility, and we want all attractions to get changing places. So if we could get one at Ilam, that would be absolutely fantastic.